your friendly neighborhood, Khatzumoto. I'm back, and I'm back. And today, I'm going to talk to you again about pitch accent. So I was talking with a friend, an ajatt about it, and he's really into pitch accent. He's like studying it, and we got to talking, and he finally realized that what he's doing is interesting and useful, but also has gigantic flaws in it, and is also largely unnecessary. Right? Here's what it comes down to. Is anyone saying pitch accent doesn't exist? Of course pitch accent exists. So the question then becomes how to approach it. That's the real question. Does it exist? Yes. Does it matter? Yes. Now, how do you learn it? How do you acquire it? And frankly, the best way is naturally. Again, think about how much you've got on your plate. You're out here. You're learning kanji. You're learning new words. You're learning kana, this and that. And then on top of that, you're like, oh, I'm gonna consciously force myself to learn pitch accent. I just think it's not necessary, especially given that you can learn it, you can acquire it naturally. If you simply imitate, think about it. It would be like, oh no, I'm going to stop eating meat instead of eating, or I'm going to stop eating meat. Instead, I'm going to, actually, that's what people do. That's basically beyond meat, right? Okay, pretend there's, let's say it's ethical meat, right? So these are animals that are raised and slaughtered humanely, right? But instead of eating this meat, you're going to be like, I'm going to eat a bunch of, I'm going to get a list of everything that's in meat and eat these things separately. I'm going to eat, it's not a good example, is it? Because there are lots of vegetarians and vegans. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to eat the constituents of this food instead of eating the food. Like, instead of eating vegetables, I'm going to take a bunch of supplements. I'm going to get a list of what's in vegetables and eat that. Now, here, there's two things wrong. There's more than two things wrong with that. There's thousands of things wrong with that. But there's two major things. One is that you're assuming that everything that's in your supplements is in the vegetables, right? So you're assuming your supplements can replace the vegetables. And you're also assuming, that's one thing, right? That's one big thing, right? So you're assuming that's the case. So you're assuming one, that we know what's in the vegetable. Two, that we can produce it, we can synthesize it artificially. And three, you can then take that and get the same effect as eating the vegetable. So those are three very big assumptions. It turns out they're all wrong, right? We do not know everything that's in meat. We don't know everything that's in vegetables. We don't know, we have not isolated, big word, isolated everything that's in, we haven't isolated all the compounds that are in these foods, right? Biochemistry is complex. Newsflash. This just in. Biochemistry is more complex than we imagine. You know what I mean? Number one, I'm losing my train of thought. Can I just say one thing? I like talking, but I hate speaking. Does that make sense? So, I like, talking my friends' ears off, but like speaking like this, I don't enjoy it. I prefer to write. But I know some people like to hear me speak, my sexy voice. So here I'm speaking. That's one thing. I prefer not to speak, and I definitely don't listen to myself after the fact, right? So I don't know what I've talked about already. I don't remember. Even though I'm like a teetotaler, I'm not like a teetotaler, actual teetotaler. It doesn't matter because I forget things like someone who uses substances. So I have no idea what I talked about before. So if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. Kind of. Having said that, it is good to have things repeated to you. So that's a useful thing. So I'm not that sorry. Sorry, not sorry. To quote Demi Lovato. So this idea that you're going to replace this, your vegetables with supplements, it's not going to happen. What is going to happen is you're going to have, these supplements are going to, one, not contain everything that's in the vegetables, and two, they're not going to feel good, because guess what? Eating vegetables tastes better than taking a bunch of pills. I'm not against supplements completely, but I'm definitely against supplements replacing good food, right? That's ridiculous. And I'm definitely against people buying like cheap food but expensive supplements. I think that's silly, right? Just buy higher quality food. Take the supplements. You're not going to get everything that's in the vegetables, one. Number two, you're not even going to get everything that's in the supplements. And number three is going to taste horrible. And number four, you're not going to have the same health outcomes, right? So there we go. Loss. Similarly, now, imitation. The sounds, the utterances of native speakers contain everything you need. They have all the information. They have the tone. I'm getting so excited. They've got the tone, the intonation, the prosody, whatever. Everything is in their speech. So simply imitate it. Now, is that perfect? No. Guess what? Nothing is. Nothing's perfect, but it's way better than way better. It's a darn sight better than isolating it that much. Now, am I against isolation completely, like isolation and analysis completely? No. There's a place for that. There is a place for isolation and analysis. Okay, there, I said it. No, and there is. I'm not just being flippant. There are good reasons to use it, but it's like isolation, analysis is like surgery. Breaking things apart, trying to put them back together. It's like surgery. You only do it when it needs to be done. You don't just do it because it's fun. And I include, frankly, most most cosmetic surgery in this, right? And when there's like reconstructive and elective, right? Reconstructive is someone has an accident, build them back up, that's fine. But just like, oh, I want to have a face, I want to have an almond-shaped face instead of the beautiful Korean face I already have. No, don't get surgery for that. And shout out to my friend who's trying to get an almond Korean surgery face instead of the actual Korean-like face she has. Stop doing it. Hashtag stop it. So it's like surgery is something you want to use carefully. Like, can you imagine now? What if I told you instead of going out and exercising to have a healthier heart, maybe changing your diet if necessary, instead of doing that, you're like, no, let's just open heart surgery every day and just like fix it. Like it's gonna take a toll on your body. So every process, similarly, like the process of like trying too hard to be aware of pitch accent consciously there's going to be a huge cognitive load on you. Like, you've already got enough on your plate. Just relax, imitate what people are saying. Now, when mistakes happen, as they will. Oh my gosh! It's the end of this video, and it's not the end. It's just getting good. Like, the really good part of this video is actually later, but you have to join Patreon to see it. Isn't that great? So do that for me, because you care about me. Thank you for watching this. Seriously though, that's what I got for you. Now go play.